Thank you for staying with us. The conversation this morning, it's, the power sector in Nigeria and what we are seeing recently, issues of, collapse of the national grid. Many persons believe it's looking like the national grid is in the ICU and fast losing life because last year it was reported, that's 2024, the national grid collapsed more than 13 times. This year, couple of times as well, as recent as the last 2 weeks or last week rather. But beyond that, what are the causative factors? Why is the national grid collapsing almost every now and then? Why are we still battling with many persons will say around maybe 5,000 megawatts or even less or thereabout? For a country of more than 200 million people, why other nations of less, population like South Africa, like Egypt, are doing tens of thousands steadily? So what has become of us? And, yesterday, even late into the night, many Nigerians were already bracing up for darkness because they believed darkness was looming because the National Union of Electricity Workers, planned a strike. But late into the night, we understand that a Shelve this morning, so Respite has come the way of Nigerians. But how permanent can that be? How workable can that respite be? For how long will we continue to have this back and forth with us? And what are the reasons? What is making the employees, what is making them angry? We have their leader with us, the number one national, employee, talking about the national president of National Union of Electricity Employees of Nigeria, Engineer Comrade Biyi Adeyeye, joins us virtually. Good morning, Engineer. Thank you for joining us. Engineer Adeyeye, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very clear and yes, I can hear you.
Okay, we seem to be having some feedback around here. Engineers will work on that. But in the interim, hope you can hear me. All right. We will work on that because this is a very important conversation, just like we do have here. But in as much as about power is very central to almost everything, talking about industrialization, talking about even the domestic use of power, not just about the industries and manufacturing companies and businesses, even small businesses, even in our homes, is that important. And so whatever has to do with power, we must talk about it. But it is good that, the union has shelved a strike. But then the question is, for how long?
Absolutely.
Can they do that?
Yeah, and again, Femi, the power sector in Nigeria is almost becoming like a mystery. Why has it become so difficult to unravel?
Like a mystery?
Yes.
It's always been a mystery.
And
you are just trying to be polite with words.
And solve the power problems in Nigeria. Yeah. What exactly is happening? Right from the days of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, there was a time it was reported that he actually spent $16 billion on that sector. Later he came out to say, later he came out to say that report was not true and all that. Yeah. But so much money has been spent on the power sector. We've had different leaders who have been unsuccessful in fixing Nigeria's power sector. And I keep asking, what exactly is going on? Are we just playing politics with it? Because this is not rocket science for me. Well, if other nations can do it, if Egypt can do it, if Libya can do it, Tunisia, Morocco, go to these places, they have, a lot of them have close to 100% power supply, even in rural areas. There was time I did a study on
almost
that.
All the Arab League nations.
They have power supply even in their rural areas.
What on Libya?
Yes. So they have it. So what exactly is wrong with us? Femi, I used to have a friend that he was working in the power sector at a co-electricity distribution company. This guy's a first-class graduate, studied electrical engineering. And after a while, he left. He moved to the US. I was asking him, that guy, as smart as you are, you couldn't contribute in fixing, Nigeria's power problem. And he laughed. He said, no, he said, I don't understand. He said, Nigeria's power issues are deeply rooted. He said, infrastructure, he said, right from beginning, he said, the problems are fundamental, that they did not plan, there was no proper planning for a country as large as Nigeria, that the infrastructure is inadequate. not the kind of infrastructure we need to have the kind of power supply we should have. But my question is, why have several leaders failed to do that? Recall your friend, your very good friend, Babatunde Raji Fashola, who came out to say that, you know, Nigeria's power sector can be fixed in 6 months.
But let me say what he said. He said any serious government will fix power in 6 months. And then he was put in charge.
So what happened?
At the end of the day, they had to take the power ministry from him. They, you know, broke it to do, let him stay with power while, works, while power was given to...
What happened? Again, for me, I was in a science conference, I think in 2010, 2011, when Professor Chinedu Nebo spoke. He gave a speech, he gave a lecture at that conference, and he spoke so well. And I'm like, no, this man knows exactly how to fix Nigeria's power problem. A very comprehensive lecture. Guess what, Femi? After that, shortly after that, he was appointed Minister of Power in Nigeria. And I was like, yes, because yes, I know his background, I know what he can do. But unfortunately, it still wasn't fixed. So what exactly is wrong with the power sector? What is wrong with... I remember then when Professor Chinedu Nebo spoke, I was like, no. He gave the analysis, he gave everything Nigeria needed to solve the power problem. But up till today, as we speak, what are we generating? It's quite shameful. It's abysmal.
It's just around,
what's happening in the power sector?
Around 5,000 megawatts. Yeah. And then it can get to zero just now.
Then we have the current, Femi, we have the current power minister who is more of a politician.
Mr. Jelabu.
Yes. Yeah. He's a politician.
He is. Oh. And there are indications he's dusting his, shoes and whatever, or his hat, and might be contesting against the governor of your state. And so how focused would that kind of a person be? And this is one ministry that has, demystified many persons with big CVs, because it's looking like the more you look, the less you see, actually. And, talking about statistics here, we understand that South Africa has the highest electricity production capacity as of 2022, and that is 65.87 million kilowatts. That's talking about 65,000 megawatts. And the African giant, not Bonaboina, Nigeria, 65,000 megawatts.
I feel embarrassed. I don't know
their capacity. I'm not sure if South Africa is up to 100 million people, and they have 65. As of 2022, 65,000 megawatts. And Nigeria is oscillating between 4.5 or 6,000 megawatts. And which by evening, it can drop to zero. Because if it collapses, and then they have to be picking up from all the areas again, they get the discos, Ikeja Electric, Ibadan Electric, Plateau Electric, whatever electric. And it's not funny because we keep talking about industrialization. How can those industries grow without, power? And many, just like you talked about the professor, and many persons too, technicians and, expatriates. I'm not even talking about foreign guys now. In the area I've said, it takes consistency. It takes planning, number one, then consistent investment over the years. Now, if you have $1 trillion, you can achieve 100% power, sufficiency today. It's done over time. Huge investment that is kept, that is improved upon with people who know how to do it, not politicians that you talked about. There should be a policy that everybody coming into that ministry must follow, a blueprint that irrespective is party A, party B, party C, and apart from the minister cannot even, I'm not sure he knows anything about those huge gadgets and everything. There are professionals, and these are some of the things that happen. We understand we might be having Engineer Adeyeye back. Engineer, if you can hear me, good morning. Engineer Adeyeye, good morning, sir. We don't want to believe his power situation because we are talking with the power person.
Quite unfortunate. All right. Quite unfortunate. I was trying to say the exact power we are generating because on their website, there's a place they put it, actual power generated for the day. I couldn't put that up, but I know it's around 5,000 megawatt. Last time I checked was 5,000.
It was around 5,000
something megawatt.
And we even learned that at installation, the installation capacity, right, for those whatever infrastructure we have, in the beginning was 13.014 megawatt installed. So when the person that talked about that the problem has been from the start, and that, I don't know when, but that obviously we're not as many as this.
Exactly. Yeah, we keep growing.
So the population has not boomed.
So there was no plan for Nigeria as far as power is concerned.
That's what I talked about, policy blueprint that was saying the next 5 years, this is the investment that should have been done. In 10 years, add this. In 15 years, add this. In 50 years, add this. So anybody just comes into place, appointment, you pick it up, somebody upstairs, and they give you a letter to go and resume somewhere. Yes, I've seen many of these scientists, many of these guys that are capable. They know what they are doing. But then, there is, in Nigeria, politics is almost everything. Yeah. We play politics, even with our health. Sometimes we want to go to hospital. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality. I said we want to lie to ourselves. When you want to go to hospital, especially those big hospitals, teaching hospitals, you have to know somebody. You know somebody.
Yeah, the system is just...
It's just that way.
We have people who have the brains, but the system is messed up. They can't really do anything.
What can they do when the policy is not supporting it? And these guys, because especially we talk about people in power who have the knowledge, engineers, they take dust their pali, the way they call it in Nigeria, and away he flew, and we are left. In fact, the person that he has not left, possibly the money has not been complete for whatever he's ready to do. That's just the thing. But we'll take a quick break right now. And when we return, we'll continue with the conversation. We'd like you to join us as well. What's the power situation in your area? If you're watching right now, drop it on our YouTube channel. The power situation in your area. How long do you people have power per day, per week, per month? And what is the tariff in your area on band A, band B, band C, D, E, or the abandoned band? Because there are some people, they don't even know where they belong. Yeah. Because whatever is thrown at them is what they take.
But I guess some people are lucky, Femi. And I think at some point I enjoyed that luck. Okay. I stayed in a particular place in Lagos, Femi, for 1.5 years. I did not use my generator. This is real story. There was always light. At least 23 out of 24 hours. There was light.
Few people are paying.
Of course.
Because we're talking about
we were paying, but we're paying. Yeah. We're paying, and no one was complaining because, if you count the cost, exactly, because the power was always there. Power was always there. I never ironed my shirt until that same morning.
Ready for it.
Exactly. So some people are actually lucky. Some people have enjoyed that. Because
this is Friday now, we are having important discussions, but then maybe a bit of humor, I remember when somebody traveled to South Africa, he's a Nigerian, typical Nigerian. He got to South Africa, the guy is a musician. And so he got there in the afternoon. He was supposed to play, in a club, in a lounge, in the evening. And the moment he got there, he unzipped his bag. He saw the power and was bringing out his clothes. Please, where is your iron? I want to iron. And people say it was around 3 p.m. or thereabout. The play was supposed to be 9 p.m. And the guy is saying, can you please help me iron because there is light? And people say, hold on. This is South Africa. Your show is Wednesday 9 p.m. Calm down. Freshen up, eat. You get to iron when you are ready. We can always do that for you. And the person, no, they can take lunch. They told him again, excuse you,
this is not Nigeria.
Look out of the window at the guy and say, I'm sorry. For you to adopt. It looks funny, but that's the reality. I'm sure many persons that have never traveled before, when they get out of this land and they get into where those things work, there's a way to be looking like a miracle to them. Yeah. Because I think you said this last week, there's a way power is provided in a place that you are not used to. And after 5 hours, you are telling one another.
You start getting worried. Exactly.
Getting worried as in as a language. Instead of giving you for a day, and you know that when they seize it, for the next 3 days you might not have, you can just tell them, if actually you can negotiate, let's have 6 hours now. Give us another 6 hours tomorrow so that we can negotiate these things because it will look sharp.
And Femi, there are some places in Nigeria where they don't even have power. Maybe they'll just bring the light, they'll have power supply, maybe just once in a month. I'm saying this for real. Yeah. Where I served in Ebonyi State, I mean, they also electricity power supply. Not that the poles are there, the connections are there, but they just won't supply you with power.
So it wasn't because the infrastructures are damaged or something.
So occasionally they'll just flash the lights. I mean, for an hour.
For you people to know that you are still alive.
Exactly.
let's
Quite unfortunate. So then we'll go to a place. There's a place where we charge phones. You know, we pay to charge phones. So you see these guys who have these constructed kiosks. You see hundreds of phones.
Businesses
to charge phones.
Actually, and the person is powering through generators. Actually, but the thing is, the price of or the cost of running a generator can never be equated to that of power.
Absolutely.
Because for you to have now, let's say you want to buy 5 liters every day in your home, you'll be spending averagely like 4,000 naira, right? And I used to tell people, for some of them, when these tariffs are brought and people say, it's too expensive. The thing is, if in some places, if distribution companies were to tell you that those people that are running 4,000, 5,000, depending on your generator, there are some generators you can't use 5 liters to power for like 5 hours. No. In fact, the moment you put the broom, one liter gone. So for those people that are using for like 5,000 and the distribution companies are promising them that 2,000 naira per day is okay. People will complain because they will calculate 60,000 naira. Who will pay? But then you use 5 hours with 5 liters, and that one you have to share the loads. There are some things that some generators cannot power in your homes, and these are the issues as well. But then we'll look into these. We must have this conversation today, and that's why I told you, please get on our social media handles on Facebook, you know, and tell us the power situation in your area and what you think could be done to improve the power. And also on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television NG, tell us the power situation in your area. What are these issues? And there are issues around distribution companies that are, in the words of Portable, reaping the people. Because Portable is reaping the people. Stay with us. All right, thank you. We apologize for those issues. It's technical in nature, but we are here right now, and we are trying to have a conversation about the power sector in Nigeria, a country of more than 200. In fact, using the statistics of Vice President Kashim Shettima at the United Nations General Assembly, where he spoke, you know, 2 days ago or yesterday, he said we are like 236 million. So these are his words, and that's an official word from the number 2 person in the country, 236 million, oscillating around 5,000 megawatts, in which the electricity union in that same country, the same country of ours, Nigeria, are threatening, in fact, to go on strike. They had to share it late last night, and we want to know why it's happening. Why is it looking like there is more than meets the eye as far as power situation is concerned in Nigeria? We have the national president of the union, National Union of Electricity Employees, here with us, virtually, Comrade Biyi Adeyeye. Engineer, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Once again, and thank you for having me here.
Thank you very much. Very quickly, we have so many things to talk about. Nigerians are, you know, rearing to hear from you. Let's start from here. Why is your union threatening Nigerians with blackout by saying you are going to down tool, even though you have rescinded that decision? What have we done to you?
Well, thank you, Femi. I want to remove the word threatening. Our union can never be threatening the country or that system collapse or blackout. We are partners in progress in this sector. And I want to tell you, with all due respect and with a great honor and humility, that what we are demanding for is what can strengthen the power sector in Nigeria. When you say power sector, you are talking about
Engineer, are you still with us?
I am with you. Can you hear me? Sorry for that.
Please go ahead.
We are talking about Nigeria electricity supply industry. And when you mention NUEE, which is Nigeria electricity supply industry, you cannot isolate the workers within. And that is exactly what we are trying to put across. Meanwhile, our agitation is mainly on how to strengthen this sector. I overheard your conversation the other time about our present generation in Nigeria.
Yes, tell us.
The situation we find ourselves in this country, having almost 240 million people with less than 5,000 megawatts. It is so sad that we are still talking about this amount of megawatts or amount of, when we have above this capacity about 15, 13 years back.
All right. In the letter that you released, you called it a call to action, as we have on our screen right now, comrade. You said, following the expiration of Union's ultimatum to TCN management over some staff welfare and operational issues, which include non-implementation of national minimum wage, casualization of workers, non-provision of working tools and materials, non-payment of staff salaries since April 2025, lack of operational vehicles, non-provision of PPE since 2021, issues arising from the unbundling of TCN, non-payment of retirement benefits, and it is unfortunate that the TCN management has decided to handle these issues with the kid gloves and lack of regards for the hard-working staff of TCN. These they have displayed without any defined roadmaps to addressing them. 8 issues actually, comrade. Is it not too much to take on at a time?
When you look at our demand, it is directed to the TCN management. And when you are talking about TCN, Transport Company of Nigeria, it is one of the subsectors in this power sector. Under power sector, you have generation, transmission, distribution. Recently, transmission was divided into 2. And I want you to know that there's no way equipment can operate itself. It can only be operated by personnel. And demanding for workers' rights, I don't think it's the bad thing for the union to do. Our collective effort in the country to do this will strengthen every sector, not only the power sector. If you recall, last year, 2024, July precisely, the so-called minimum wage was signed into law and was concluded. Up to now, Nigeria, and especially power sector, has not implemented. And when you look at what we mentioned about capitalization of workers, it is so sad for you to have workers working for 4 or 5 years. It is against the law of engagement. It's against the law of ILO. We cannot keep a worker for 4 or 5 years under the guise of a casualization. And some other demands we are agitating for.
All right, Engineer Adeyeye, looking at your demands, very germane. I took a look at all your demands. They are very crucial. Like you said, the instruments will not operate themselves. They have to be operated by personnel. But Engineer Adeyeye, one of your demands caught my attention, and I'd like you to address that, because that one for me is non-negotiable. One of them is provision of working tools and personal protective equipment. Engineer Adeyeye, you are a professional, you are an engineer. I want you to tell us this morning, is it possible that your men actually go to work without PPE, personal protective equipment? Is that possible?
When you look at the nature of our work, we know we are open to a lot of hazards. And based on this, we will not allow any of our men to go and engage themselves working outside without equipping themselves with PPE. So sad that we have to use our personal fund. Sometimes we raise money within ourselves to buy all this PPE to avoid accident in the field. And we have made demands of this severally. The same story you hear every time. We have to suspend our strike yesterday based on the fact that the minister promised that he's going to intervene to this issue. We hope that happens anyway.
Engineer, is it that there is no provision made, okay, in your budget for PPE? Or is it that the funds are not getting to you? What exactly is the issue? Because it's quite unreasonable to expect engineers, I mean, not to provide personal protective equipment for engineers and expect them to work in such a sensitive sector as power. So what actually is the problem? Is it a lack of provision of funds or budgetary allocation, or where is the disconnect coming from?
When you talk about PPE in power sector, you talk about all the protective wares that personnel use to carry out their activities while they are on duty. At the same time, you talk about logistics. Probably they want to go and do some work outside their offices, carrying vehicles and all those things. At the moment, I want to tell you that some of our staff need their personal vehicles to go and do the connections, or even to go and carry out maintenance in substation. And this has been the order of the day. It's not that they don't have it in their budget. It is the level of implementation that is very, very untransparent.
So much to really look into. I'd like to ask that letter, this letter that we are having on our screens, was signed by Dominic Igwebike, General Secretary, and to all zonal heads. Of course, you are the President, Biyi Adeyeye, and of course, General Secretary Joe Ajero. The Joe Ajero, is he the NLC President?
Yes, that is the Congress President, and it's the General Secretary of the Union.
Right. Let me.
Meanwhile,
okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the Dominic Igwebike is an acting General Secretary.
Okay, right. Now let me ask, for Nigerians that are watching, many of them will say, who are the Nigerian Union of Electricity Employees? Because, you know, for some of us that are millennials and those that are older, they know NEPA. Some of us know PHCN. Who are your workers? Where can they be found? Where do you work? Now, some Nigerians might want to know, are you the IBDCs? Are you the IKDCs? Let us know.
Well, National Union of Electricity Employees is an affiliated union body to NLC.
Okay.
And we have our network, our offices in every zone in Nigeria. Especially, we have some networks within the Southwest, even right there in North State. We have our officers located in every state, and that's how we operate.
Do your people, do they work for those distribution companies as well?
Yes, you know, we have a system that covers generation, transmission, and distribution.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Now, that being said, I'd like you to confirm for me, because I don't want just us to just pick it from information available. You are the #1 employee as far as electricity employees are, you know, they are concerned in Nigeria. What is the true state of the grid in Nigeria? You know, because we saw in South Africa more than 61,000 megawatts, in Egypt 10,000, I mean thousands, tens of thousands in all of these countries, even Libya. As far as this country is concerned, today, this morning, right now, what is the capacity of our national grid?
Well, you just mentioned it when I was hearing the competition the other time. Actually, I don't have the record of 18 times system collapsed last year.
Yeah.
But I must be sincere with you. Nigeria is still operating under 6,000 megawatts. We have, as at yesterday, about 5,400 megawatts on the national grid. And so sad that we are having this kind of megawatts on our national grid with the population we are having in Nigeria. You mentioned other places like Egypt, even the South Africa, with their lower population, they have above this. They are celebrating above 50,000 megawatts. Go to Uganda with their lower population, they have all this. But the policies is against this in Nigeria. That is it.
All right.
Few years ago, when power sector was privatized, we thought they are coming with new ideologies, they come up with new good policies that will help us to build this generation. But so sad that we have businessmen walking around power sector.
All right.
Going away with billions every month while you are serving Nigeria with darkness.
Engineer Adeyeye, if I may ask you, you are on the field, you are a big player in the power sector, and you know exactly what goes on. Just before you came on, while we were waiting for you to come on, we were having a conversation right here in the studios, and we were talking about some of the challenges facing Nigeria's power sector. It didn't start today. It's been there for decades, and several leaders, leaders have not been able to solve the power challenges of Nigeria. In your own opinion, as a professional who's on the field, what would you say are the biggest challenges facing Nigeria's power sector at this moment?
The first one is when you have the wrong person heading the right organization. You employ the barber to come and do the job of an engineer. What do you expect? Or a banker carrying out a technical work in the field. What do you expect? That is the challenges. The people that are heading power sector doesn't know about the job.
Are you talking about the appointments being made by the government? Because they are professionals in the industry. Are you saying they are not being picked to head, various departments in the industry, the power sector? Engineer Adeyeye, can you hear me? I'm afraid you are having...
Sorry, I was out of with the call. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead. We can hear you now. Did you get my question?
Thank you very much.
Did you get my question, though?
Yes.
All
the
right.
question is, who are the people monitoring this sector?
Absolutely. Please go ahead.
Thank you. You see, a situation whereby you have a very crucial issues coming up within the sector, and you are giving some idea or some advices that can even strengthen the sector, and nobody seems to listen to you. At a stage, you get fed up of it. Even when you bring an accountant to come and do a work, and that accountant is ready to either probably work along with the engineer or professional there, you can easily get the result. But unfortunately, their target is not what you are looking for. Their target is far from the fact that strengthening the power sector. Their target is just to get these billions out of this place as business.
Engineer, I want to get something right. Still on Daniel's question. When you talk about having when you talk about having the wrong set of people, many different offices.
I have a lot of disturbances on this conversation. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but hope you can hear me now.
Yes.
All right. I just want to, expand further on my colleague Daniel's question. When you talk about having, the wrong set of people, money, offices, and capacities, now are you talking about the ministry, as in the leadership of the Ministry of Power and the people there, or you are talking about having the wrong people working as technical staff? I want to know, because for you are an engineer and you need many of your type engineers to work on these installations. Is that where the problem is? Or you are talking about the policy makers at the ministry level?
The major challenges we are facing is that the people at the realm of affairs in power sector, they are not professionals. They don't even know how to address the issue or challenges that is facing power sector. They are just gambling. The moment you hear somebody that in the next 1 year, Nigeria will be experiencing 24-hour supply, or a situation whereby you distribute or you put Nigeria to different phases of supply in Nigeria from band A to band Z, and even the band A cannot enjoy even 8 or 10 hour supply. A lot of things are happening in power sector, and I want to zero everything to the leaders, the people that head the affairs of power sector. There's no fair recruitment. The business owners are not even doing well. When you look at their network, you know that they don't have idea of where they are. And since nobody is addressing this, the government is just looking at them as if, well, they are special Nigerians, they are untouchable.
Do you think the Minister of Power, Minister Biyi Adeyeye, has been a wrong appointment so far?
Me and you know that it is very, very sad to be experiencing this in Nigeria, while he has occupied that office for how many years back now? Going to 3 years. What have he put into the generation?
Where's the problem actually? Because some persons have said, let's identify the issues. Are we generating enough? Are we distributing what we are generating enough? And, you know, are we even transmitting properly? Let us know. Nigerians are watching. They will still see this later to know that this is so that we, because the problem has to be identified and acknowledged so that we can move forward. Is it transmission? I mean, is it generation? Is it transmission or distribution?
Well, the three phases are having serious issues. And it seems there's no constructive communication between them and the workers that are working within them. All efforts to at least have a fair play so that you have the right of workers, at the same time probably the management are also ready to do one or two things. It's not working. The employer's obligation and all those things, you just mentioned the issue of PPE now, the personal protective equipment which are not being provided. What is the morale you are raising to workers? You bring the morale down when they don't have what to protect them. There's no training. A lot of risk are being taken on daily basis by workers. But let me just go straight with your question that which one is the problem?
Yeah.
All of it, both generation, transmission and distribution, are giving us problem, most especially distribution.
So
distribution about 14 years ago, all of them got this company, and up till now, no single company out of all these 11 discos can claim that they have injected something very tangible to the network they bought. They got it very cheap. And here, they are just catching money every month. They are not even improving it. If you want to get a supply to your house today, you have to, if you don't have pole, you have to get the pole by yourself. Possibly they will ask you to buy transformer. At the same time, the meter you are using in your house is being procured by yourself. Before you want it, they ask for money to probably for approval before you can even install your transformer.
Engineers,
these are the problems.
Sorry to cut in the engineer. You've highlighted some of the problems right here, but before I go to my main question, I'd like to ask you, are we even distributing everything we are generating right now? Do we have effective distribution in the system?
Very good. It is not transparent when you say distribution of electricity in Nigeria. At the moment, we are talking about 5,000 megawatt plus. If 5,000 megawatt plus is distributed to all Nigeria, it is not yet enough to all Nigerians. But that, you can see the distribution companies rejecting loads because they will tell you if this load is supplied to so area, they won't get their targets there, they won't meet up their targets there. The worst part of it is they have a lot of equipment which is under limitation. They will say, okay, this transformer is overloaded. Based on that, they will not want to supply that area.
So engineer,
such transformer that is overloaded.
Sorry to cut in, engineer. So revenue collection is another factor that is affecting distribution. Revenue collection. God
bless you, sir.
All right. Please go ahead.
So that is what I'm trying to explain. A situation whereby you have a distribution network so bad that whenever you have little rainfall, every well is gone. Or they tell you that, okay, due to so problem, they cannot supply so area. What kind of business is that?
All right, engineer, which brings me to my major question now. A lot of experts in your industry have argued that Nigeria shouldn't be operating a national grid at this time. This is 2025. My question to you is why are we still operating a national grid? And what other options do we have as a nation?
There's no how Nigeria will not continue operating national grid. Even if you have your generation through other means apart from hydro gas, if it comes through either winds or whatever, you still have at a centralized place which is called national grid.
Are you saying, sorry, engineer, are you saying we cannot, engineer, sorry to cut in, are you saying we cannot decentralize generation and transmission of power in Nigeria? Oh, I'm afraid we lost connection there. I will try to re-establish connection. I really like him to attend to that, because some experts have said, no, why are we stuck on national grid? That there are better ways to do it. Nigeria is a huge country, so why can't we decentralize? That's the question I'm trying to pose to him right there. That can't we just decentralize this system? Why must we keep operating a national grid that keeps collapsing? That's the point some experts are making.
Once it collapses, it affects the entire nation because it's centralized. Of course, we'll try to have him back.
I think I spoke at that level.
Okay, if you can hear us, please go ahead.
When you are talking about decentralized national grid, it involves a very huge capital. A lot of region has made this move that they want to have their national grid separate from the common one. But let me ask you this question. The common one we are having, what have we put to it to strengthen it? So Nigeria is still operating under this national grid, same national grid, which you see that is very, very difficult to operate. You see finalization almost everywhere in the north, even in the south. So it's a very huge project that even if we are thinking of it now, the actualization cannot come up now.
But it's possible in the future. We can actually work towards it. That's the point. We can actually work towards it.
Well, Nigeria has been saying it, and we know the country where we find ourselves. We are talking about smart grid. Smart grid for how many years ago now? More than 20 or 25 years ago. Up to now, we have not achieved smart grid. Now we are saying we want to decentralize. It was because they could not give enough supply to Nigeria that they suggested privatization about 14 or 15 years ago now. They could not move away from that. Even Nigeria was around 6, 7, 8 megawatt at that time, dropping to 5,000.
All right, the glitch
after.
Okay.
Series of calls are coming in because of the action of yesterday. So I have to just.
We understand. We'll allow you go in the next few minutes. So that you can do your work. Part of your work is what you are doing right there. By the way, I have 2 questions.
Yes, exactly.
The first one is, you talked about that you and your members, the hierarchy of the NUEE, had to shelve the idea because you got some promise from the minister. But it seems you don't trust the minister enough and his leadership and capacity, yet you have trusted his promise to shelve this strike. How does that make sense?
Well, we just have to go into this as a collective bargaining, and at the same time understand the fact that we are no saboteurs in these sectors, and we have to put into consideration that this thing affects the public, and it will definitely if it affect the national grid like we mentioned now, it's going to be another story that we don't want to even go into. What we did yesterday was to ask our members to withdraw their services from their place of work when there is no PPEs and some other demands we made. But with his intervention, we believe that he too will see it as a call to action or a call to
did he just
strengthen the power sector.
Yeah, did he just get to know yesterday? Comrade, did he just get to know about your plight yesterday?
That is not feasible. We have made a series of letters. This thing has started since 2023. We have, in fact, we have copies of letter we wrote to the ministry, copy the Ministry of Labor, even copy the DSS.
All right. Let me just ask you now, when in national, and I'm asking this as a layman in Nigeria who is watching, when a national grid collapses, what causes it?
A lot of things causes national grid collapses. Sometimes you have a very low generation due to imbalances in voltage. Sometimes it could be a cause of nature, force majeure. Sometimes you can just discover that black starting, that is when you are trying to restart a generator. These are machines that sometimes it can easily be like that. And do you know that we just mentioned about our population, and unfortunately we are not planned for the future. There is no plan for the future. If consumption is high more than what they are generating, you should expect the downfall of such generation. So a lot of these things are.
Why is it incessant in Nigeria? Why is it incessant? Why is it happening repeatedly? What are your members doing? Because some will say maybe your engineers are not capable of maintaining this grid, because you are talking about your welfare and all of those things, which is good. 100% Nigerians agree with it. You need to be taken care of. You need to be given what you are needed, what you need rather to work. That's on your welfare side. What's the quality of what you are doing? Why are your engineers maintaining this grid and they keep collapsing incessantly?
You know, something is very important we must understand. You know, protection of domestic workers at all these locations is very, very essential. You cannot expect a worker to go and use his blood to heart generation. It is not possible. The workers are, for you to even have supply at this moment, the workers should even be appreciated, because of the fact that Nigeria is above 240 million and you are operating under 5,000 megawatts, and some people are still getting supply. You should see that those workers are performing miracles. They are doing more than what is expected of them to see what you are having.
All right, Engineer Adeyeye, I was about to say that that's a miracle of some sort. But here's my question to you, Engineer Adeyeye. I know you might not be prepared for this, but I just want you to give it a shot. Now, if hypothetically speaking, Engineer Adeyeye, you are saddled with the responsibility of increasing power generation and distribution in Nigeria from 5,000 megawatts to 10,000 megawatts in the shortest possible time, and you have all the resources available to you, what exactly would you do?
The first thing to do is just to look at the human factor. Who are professionals that can bring this one to function? Unfortunately, we don't have them in power sector now. Those who you have in power sectors now are collectors. They are just there to collect money and run the way as usual. Both generation, distribution, and transmission. At the management level, they are collectors. You should first of all look into that and ensure you have the professionals working to ensure you have results.
So one of the major challenges from what you just said now is the lack of professionals in the industry, in the sector. From what you said, from your response now, it shows me that that's the biggest challenge we have in the power sector in Nigeria.
That is just it.
All right. We understand you have been under intense pressure, you know, to get off, you know, the call and do other things. But if you can hear me, a final one for me. Comrade, can you hear me?
Yes, very well, I can hear you.
So there are many persons who will say, with whatever you have said so far, the issues, the challenges and all, because we've had you severally on this program, and it's always to discuss problems. Nigerians will say, what is the solution you are bringing on board? Because, oh yes, there are issues and you have identified them. Your union, what are you bringing to the table? How can these, you know, be improved? Knowing fully well where we are, the political undertone, the government bottlenecks, policies and all of those things, funding, what can we do right now to salvage this situation so that when next we have you, comrade, we won't still be talking about problems?
Thank you. We always see ourselves as a critical stakeholder. And all what we have been doing so far is to ensure that we put in our possible best to have these power sectors stable, to stabilize this power sector. But it is not possible for you to do this thing without being considered as a stakeholder. If you have been seen as a stranger where you work, where you have your workers, it becomes very difficult for you to operate. The challenges we are facing majorly is the fact that there is no transparency. We are not being considered as a stakeholder. That is the major challenges we are facing in power sector.
All right. So when you feel like a stakeholder and when you are carried along and treated so, you think the power situation in Nigeria will improve?
If you have an idea and it's not being borrowed, you become deaf and dumb.
All right. And we are not supposed to be. But then we appreciate you especially for staying this long, because you understand what is happening right now. Comrade Engineer Biyi Adeyeye, the national president of the National Union of Electricity Employees. We wish you and your men all the best. And of course, very importantly, we wish Nigeria all the best as well. We deserve a more stable power in Nigeria, and we hope that will happen someday.
Thank you very much. We promise to do our best, and we'll continue to do our best.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
This is it.
Absolutely, Femi. One major takeaway for me from this conversation is a clear indictment, on our leaders in Nigeria, on leadership, on their failure to appoint technocrats in the power sector, to have square pegs in square holes. Failure of leadership to appoint the right people to manage a sensitive sector such as the power sector in Nigeria. Because if we don't have technocrats manage it, look at what he said. From our conversation now, that's the major challenge there. People are just businessmen. They are just coming to cash out. Exactly, just to cash out.
At every sector, transmission, generation, distribution, collectors, using the word.
Yeah, so this is an indictment on the government, The president appoints the minister. It's an indictment on the government. The failure of the government to make sure that the right people are in place to fix the power sector.
And they should respond, actually, because that is from the NUEE. The government has a right of response on this program and their agencies, and of course the platform is there for them to make their reply and to do what is right. We must go. Thank you very much for being a part of the program today. We appreciate you and for being with us all week. It's been an amazing week. Femi Ojo is my name. I implore you, to unwind if you can, relax. As they say, problem no they finish. So enjoy the weekend. Just like one president or somebody under Buhari said, wherever you receive food, in as much as not sacrifice, please go and eat, especially if you are invited. But please be careful. Whatever you do, stay alive. Femi Ojo is my name. I'll see you next week.
And of course, from myself, Daniel Meka, do have a wonderful weekend and go enjoy yourself. The bill's on me. Yes, just mention my name. They'll give you anything you want. Right. Join us again next week.